All right, so day 2 of the Beretta A300 Ultima Patrol, 12 gauge, of course. Ran flawless today. Ran a low recoil, just regular old butt shot. Didn't do anything to the gun before I took it out the box. Took it to the range. Shot 250 rounds of it flawlessly. Hitting out to 20 yards, no problem. Obviously, there's a spread. I got a full choke installed right now. As you can see, that's a full choke. So it's going to be a tighter pattern, of course, but buckshot compared to birdshot are going to do two different things, obviously, pattern right. So tomorrow, I am going to pattern 7 different types that you see sitting up here. And I believe I may have gotten 2. Yeah, it's the same. So I got 7 different types of different buckshot, ranging from different FPS. Obviously, all double-aught buck. You can see here, Winchester, 9 pellet double-aught, 2 3/4. All of them are 2 3/4. Back there, lead shot dove, just regular bird shot, but it's at 1300 FPS. So still got a little something to it. But the big boy here, I am curious to see how the new Beretta A300 holds up. The hammer, that's the biggest, heaviest round I could get from Academy off the shelf. As you see there, 1500 FPS. It's a 1.5 shot. Number 2 shot shell. So again, moving down, we have self-defense rounds. There's some good heavy stuff here again. Not too heavy, but I don't, it's buckshot, right? We're going to see double-aught buckshot. We're going to see how that recoil handles in the new A300. So real quick recap with the target loads I was shooting today. Obviously, 250 rounds was very manageable. It was the lightest shotgun I've ever shot. I've shot in several. In my price range, obviously, this is the highest I ever spent on a shotgun before. So I'm in a new realm of shotguns. Proud of that. So still got to learn a lot more about that gun. Just want to do a little quick video to show. Again, we stopped at the Defender. The first one is a 9 pellet double-aught buck, 1145. Next to it is what I usually have, but I changed it, recently from learning what I need for actual shotgun 12 gauge defense rounds. This here is a slug with pellets inside the shell, so I'm not sure if that's really needed. Because that may be too much, right? Because we got a slug that's going to go through a wall easily. It's going to pass through a flesh and keep on moving. Next to it, another heavy one. This is actually used for hunting deer, hog. It's actually specifically made to take down bear, right? So if you're going to get a box of double-aught buck and you're going to use it in your home defense, and you got a picture of a bear on the front of it, you might want to think twice of using that inside your house. Obviously, any corner is, most homes are going to have no longer than 10 yards or less around the corners. So something like that, yeah. But we're going to see why I got it, because I want to see how it patterns, obviously, out of that full choke. But I still want to see, being a brand new gun, not necessarily me, I'm going to use this as my self-defense round, but I still want to see how it feels out of the gun, how it reacts out of the gun, and how it spreads at various yards. My shooting pattern, I go from 3, 5, 7, and 10, then somewhere between 10 and 15 yards. I may stretch that just to see, right? What's the max? I got to have a max and minimum, and then I can have a good idea where I'm at with each one of these. And lastly over here is a managed recoil buckshot. It's a low low brass, low powder. That is something that I think is going to be the one that I go by because it's low recoil and the fact that it still has enough oomph to do what I need it to do. So I'm betting this one's going to be my actual new self-defense round, but we're going to see. So 7 different ones tomorrow after 250 rounds out of that bad boy today. Yes, I am going to add a limb saver, air tech to it. You know, it says on there it'll reduce up to 70% of recoil. I highly doubt that it's going to reduce 70% of recoil. If it reduces a third of what I'm normally feeling from this gun, it's a soft shooting gun, from at least from what I've shot on birdshot. I can shoot that mess all day long, no issue. No ports. I mean, when I say no issue, no failure feeds, no injection problems. This thing ran flawlessly. I know there's a ton of videos out there on this thing, and I have been watching every one of them, and those videos out there have made me decide to get this shotgun. But I do want to say, you know, at that price point around $1,000, you're going to find a lot of aftermarket parts. You're going to look for them, and you probably aren't going to find them right now because this thing is just flying off the shelves. Because it's a Beretta, is very similar to the 1301 Beretta. So there's a lot of interchangeable things. Of course, I'm going to change out that, you know, that buttstock pad there. See how it does. It is going to give me obviously more length of pull, because what Beretta did, and if you have ever shot one of these A300s or 1301s, 1301s have a different stock than this. They have what's called a kickback system inside the stock that has these, you know, shock absorbers. I am going to get that just for the simple fact, but that's another $300, right? So that's how the difference between this model of A300 and if you look at the 1301, this is, you know, gas operated, straight bolt back. On a 1301, they have a rotating bolt. A lot of other similarities to the receiver. You know, the port side is different. You will not find that on the current 1301. They probably will change that later because that's a great port. My other Benelli I had, it was great. I wish this came with it. It's called a lockback receiver. What it does, it allows the user to, when they're, you know, putting their shells in, that the gate will stay down, right? And I'm not going to eject it down so it'll pop up, but this will stay down in this thing, in that position, and then you just feed your tube. While you're doing that, that never comes up, and you get the, you know, thumb pinch. I had no problem loading 250 rounds in there. I did not push one over to the gate. I never had thumb pinch. It loaded flawless, right? It really did. And I'm not I do shoot it quite a bit, but I'm nothing of what you may see from some other videos online. This is just a amateur opinion. Probably easily the best shotgun I've ever owned. Even with one outing today with it at the range. Like I said, I was shooting paper, 3, 5, 7, 10, 15 yards. Then I shot some steel at 15 yards. Again, no issue, none, 0. So when you hear the videos, when you see the videos, and they're saying, "Hey, I would, you know, depend this gun on my life," I believe it. Will I say I will do that yet? No, right? 250 rounds of birdshot is not going to convince me that I would, you know, put my life on this gun. I don't do that with any gun. I don't think anybody should until they've handled it. Me personally, until I get about maybe 500, maybe even 1,000 rounds to this thing. But so far, in the first outing, and I've had other semi-auto shotguns, and they've all hung up or misfed, on low brass, and you have to go out and buy the high brass to get it to cycle properly. But it took 1,000, 2,000 rounds before it ever really cycled perfectly, and never really does, right? It's always that 1 out of 200, 300 rounds that still will hang up. But anyways, this is my little snapshot of this Beretta A300. I'll shoot all this tomorrow morning, and then I'll try to put another little review of what I felt. I'll even have some pictures, maybe some patterns of all of these, because I do want that for a personal use more than just sharing this online. It's a great gun. I have no doubt within a couple of weeks I will have this set up to be my home defense weapon. Obviously with the M-LOK rails at 3, 6, and 9, you know, I've seen people mostly put the light attachments there on the M-LOKs there. You know, people have been talking about this plastic polymer cover, tube cover and clamp. That's not it. It has not. That was the first thing I checked at after the 250 rounds. It has not moved. I am going to replace it because I do like to have a steel cover. So with that, it comes with a combination for $100. Again, I do caution people that, you know, there are a lot of accessories, obviously mounts, red dots. It's called a kick system that you can actually put into the A300. There's this called a super gate. You can get that attachment. There's, you know, triggers. On the trigger, it's light. It's light. It's the lightest trigger I've used on a shotgun. I would not want to have a lighter trigger, because there was one instance, and this is not the shotgun's fault. I was loaded, tube was loaded, properly went up to put my safety selector back into position to be able to fire. But, you know, I as a user, and you should not do this, had my finger so much on the trigger, and you should not have your finger anywhere on the trigger, you know, while you're depressing your safety. Obviously, that's the reason why you have the safety on, right? But I did, and that was my own fault. And that thing, we all done this on ARs and stuff, and do that double shot. Well, the first shot went, and it went so fast, you know, I almost did a bump stock on it and shot another one off. Dirty wise, typical. It actually is a little cleaner than I would say even a gas impingement. It's a little more, but again, that's 250 rounds and about an hour and a half. So not anything that I think is any different from a direct impingement. You can see those on some of the other type shotguns. Panzer has that direct impingement system. The 1301 has what's called a blink system, which is which just allows the operator to run the gun faster, right? And you hear a lot of people saying you can outrun a gun. Outrunning a gun just means how many times can you press that trigger, and the gas operating system cannot move fast enough to recycle another cartridge into the tube or into the barrel to fire, and then it was kind of stalled, right? You got to kind of wait for it to catch up. 13-1, obviously many videos saying that never happens. I am not that type of shooter. I tried once, and I unloaded what I thought was the fastest I could do and still be on target, and I was nowhere near 99% of the people you see on YouTube. So the average owner like myself is never going to want to shoot 7+1 rounds of any of these, whatever you're going to use for self-defense rounds. You're never, no one's ever going to tell me or make me believe that I need to learn how to rapid fire a gun that fast, right? There's just no way. I don't care what you're using. I don't care if you're just using birdshot. One of these out this gun, it's going to stop someone. It's going to stop them clear in their tracks. It's going to make them turn around if they don't go to the ground. I literally had, I was in the outdoor stall. I literally had the guy next to me come over while I was shooting, and he made a comment, and he says, all I can hear is this cannon going off next to me. And is it loud? Well, you know, you should, you know, you don't hear people saying this, but you should understand the level, the decibel level of the ammo you're shooting, right? I'm not telling you, I'm not suggesting you go out and fire a gun with no earmuffs on, just so you have awareness. But if you're gonna be in a house and you're gonna use a gun that you practice with, but you've always used your earmuffs while you're shooting it, that real sound may startle you. It may take you off your cue, what you've been training yourself at the range for, right? It's a muscle reflex that you keep doing over and over and over to understand your gun. But if you've never heard a shotgun go off without earmuffs, it may change your whole stance, right? So yes, I have heard this gun without earmuffs, and it is very loud. It's very loud. And that was with low recoil, by the way. So I can go on and on about this. I'm just one outing. The texture, everyone talks about it. You hear some guys saying it's overly aggressive. Some love it. I'm telling you, it's perfect. Simply because my other shotguns did not have this type of texture, especially on the grip well there. Because I was always used to like the pistol grip. And a lot of people, you know, probably would like a pistol grip. On the 13 ones, you can get a modified stock with a pistol grip on it, right? I love this. I thought this was going to be the first thing I was going to replace, this whole stock. And they don't make it yet, but somebody will, because they're making parts for this thing, and everyone's out. You're gonna have a hard time finding aftermarket parts or OEM parts for this, but they're out there. A lot of them are out of stock. A lot of Optiplanics, you know, Midway, you name it, you know, Primary Arms, you name it. They may have these parts for the gun, for the Beretta, but they're going to be on back order or out of stock, and you're going to be on a waiting list. So I even have ordered something, I can't remember what it was, and it didn't tell me it was in stock, but then it sent me an email saying already that they're sorry that how slow it's going to be to get that item to me, and I can't remember what it is now. What was it? I can't even remember what it was. But I was so excited to start buying just the small things, the things I think I can do now. Are they cheap to get some of the things for, like, you know, you see the Steiner MPS that people are putting on there with the that flush mount that co-witnesses with your fiber optics up front. Just as a heads up, they don't talk about the price. They don't say anything about the price. That Steiner costs about $500. That red dot Steiner costs about $500. That plate will cost you another $175. That kick system that you can put in the back of here, take this off and installs inside, that's almost $300, right? The super gate plate, that's about $250. The metal bracket and tube extension cover, that was not bad. That was only about $100. So if you do these things to this gun, you would have spent the same money you would have probably gone and spent on the 1301. Just that heads up. So they made it affordable, but they put the same parts out there for you to go get, and there you are. So that's my review. I hope you like it, and I will be back for the second one tomorrow.